The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
Hold it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. It's Monday. Hey, did you miss me? I missed you guys. You're really actually the only real friends I have. I just want you to know that. Anyway, welcome to the show. Please come inside to join me. I had a long trip to Kansas City. Drove my daughter back to school. She's an art student there, and I drove her 2 days, starting last Wednesday, and then staying overnight in St. Louis, and then driving in on Thursday, and got her stuff unloaded into her apartment. She's going to be sharing her apartment with my son, who's 27 years old. Let me just tell you, it wasn't the best when I arrived there, because I'm supposed to stay at the apartment, right? And he hasn't moved his furniture out of storage yet into the apartment. So you know what he had to greet me? A mattress on the floor, 2 folding chairs, and a video game console and a television on the floor. So I'm just like, you want me to stay here? Really? So anyway, that was not very exciting. That was not good. But I will tell you this. Most exciting thing on the trip that was better than I even could have possibly imagined. Better than I could have possibly imagined in my wildest dreams. I never thought it could be this good. Buc-ee's. Buc-ee's is, my God, if I lived within 100 miles of a Buc-ee's, I'd drive there for dinner. I swear, it is so amazing. I've never seen anything like it. I walk into Buc-ee's, and I didn't grab a basket, right? Because I just filled up the car with gas, and I didn't have a basket with me. So I started walking around. I did a viral video. It's on my Instagram, and you'll see it there. And you'll see I'm like a 4-year-old in a candy store, and I'm walking around as wide-eyed as can be. And I got a brisket burrito. Oh my God, it was so good. Got my daughter a brisket sandwich. Anyway, walked around and just. By the time I left, my arms were loaded with stuff that I wasn't going to buy, but I ended up buying because it's so friggin' amazing. Truth be told, says, told you, Rob. Yeah, oh my God. This is a publicly traded company because I would buy Buc-ee's. And where my kids live in Kansas City, Kansas, they're putting in a new Buc-ee's. It's going to be open in October next year. So, I might just buy some stock in Buc-ee's. I swear, it's such a beautiful business plan. It's big, it's bright, it's got variety, it's got places you can buy clothes and apparel and souvenirs. And it was in Ohio where I was near Columbus kind of area, and so they had Ohio State stuff there, you know. Then they had all this food, this island where they were chopping up brisket, making sandwiches. All the employees were smiling. All the employees were making jokes. They were friendly and awesome. I bought some Buc-ee's bites or nuggets or something. I don't even know what the hell they were. I didn't open them. I gave them to my daughter. But Buc-ee's, I got to tell you, Buc-ee's, wow. That was the highlight of the trip. It was the highlight of the trip. The low light of the trip was flying on American Airlines when I went to KCI at 6 in the morning and got there and they said my flight had been canceled, but don't worry, they rebooked me 6 hours later with 2 places to stop before I made it to D.C. And I said, no, I don't think so. So I got on Travelocity. You know, it was Priceline. And I booked a same-day flight on United for half the price of what it would have been 3-legged journey to Washington, D.C., and I managed to fly in on Saturday afternoon. Finished the studio here in Washington, D.C., in the lovely Newsmax studios. It really is something to behold. We'll be having guests in the studio every single day, hopefully. Got 2 cameras. It's a really, really cool space. I'm quite proud of it. It's taken me 3 weeks to build this. But I did it. So a lot of things happening with the Democrat Socialist America. I told you that the Democrat Party was doing a death spiral into hell, and I believe it more and more every single day. And the amazing thing is the Democrat Party didn't learn anything about 2024 because Kamala Harris was bringing leftism to the party, and they got destroyed by Donald Trump in the election of 2024. They lost both houses of Congress, the Electoral College popular vote. But the Democrat Socialists of America, these are young children who have no life experience. They're highly educated, and they owe tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in college debt for worthless degrees. They can't get jobs. And can you blame them for being a little upset? I blame them for attempting to make the United States a communist country. That's just idiocy. But you combine not only the indoctrination they have gone through their entire education system, from primary education to college, and they're looking for answers. And when they graduate, they owe $200,000 on a loan for a worthless degree, and they're working at Starbucks. And I'm talking literally about some of the people who are running as DSA candidates, like this dimwit in Colorado. She owes like $200,000. She's been in college for 12 years, and she works at Starbucks. And last year, she made $30,000. $30,000 a year is poverty. $30,000 a year is poverty. Now, I remember when I graduated from college, I worked from the age of 15 to the age of 23 when the minimum wage was $3.35 an hour. I know, I'm old, whatever, who cares? And when I was a senior in college, I was angry. I was angry because I kind of blamed other people for my predicament or whatever, but then I realized I don't really have a lot of skill. And this is the minimum wage, and this is what they were offering. Now, I worked at a truck stop. I think I got it to $5 an hour. There was a guy who let me walk beans for $5 an hour. When I was in college, there was a radio station. I think I made $5 an hour doing 2 weekend shifts. So I made it work. But I graduated, and I was, I don't know what I was. I guess I was probably center left, I guess. I'm not even sure. But no life experience, no common sense at that point, really, and blaming the government, I guess, and maybe Ronald Reagan at the time for my misfortune. I mean, I went through 4 years of college, literally from age 18 to age 28, did not have a television. When I graduated from college, I had a single bed frame. I borrowed a black and white TV from my station manager that worked half of the time. I had a bad furniture that I got with the rental. The rental was $350 a month. It had green shag carpeting. Throughout college, I didn't have any money for fresh fruit. I ate bologna and peanut butter sandwiches and garbage for 4 years. The problem with this group of people is that they've got massive college debt. They have no prospects for jobs and ability to pay back anything, yet they have a $1,200 phone. And yet they order Uber Eats rather than getting off their rear ends and driving to McDonald's or Chipotle or whatever. So it's a little bit different. They're a little more spoiled and entitled, certainly. But that's your DSA. And I've been saying about these college students who, shut down the quad at the University of Missouri or show up and say they demand that they divest in Israel. And I have always said to them, you're not in the position to demand anything. And some of these DSA candidates are demanding, we're going to tax the hell out of millionaires. Really? You're in the position to demand nothing. You have no life experience at all. You're in the position to demand nothing. We're going to take over a major corporation. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not in the position to demand anything. We're going to get rid of the Senate. Oh, really? Well, guess what? We will fight you in a literal war if you decide you think you're going to do that. There will be a war if you try that. It's not going to happen. You're not going to get rid of the Senate. You're not going to get rid of electing the presidency with a popular vote in electoral college. So you can stomp your feet and you can scream and yell and all the things you're doing, but it ain't going to work. It's not going to work. You're not in the position to demand anything. And this coalition, as I had mentioned, is not going to succeed. It is not going to succeed. It's not gaining momentum at all. They've got a lot of loudmouths out there. We're going to get into this Abdul El Sayed. He's going to get destroyed in Michigan. He's going to get destroyed by Mike Rogers, because Michiganders are recognizing that this guy, Syed, only got like 49% of the Democrat vote and beat Haley Stevens by 1 point or so. And in polling, it showed that Haley Stevens would have a much more competitive race against Mark Rogers, but she's no longer the candidate. And so Saeed is fallen way behind as people see his affiliation with this podcaster. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but anyway, they're beginning to realize this is bat guano crazy. This is back guano crazy. And there I literally, I joined a group, or at least I'm following a group now, and it's called Democrats for Mike Rogers. Because, as I said, remember back in the 2024 election, I said that 80% of us believe the country was headed in the wrong direction. 80% of us could come together to save it. Remember that I said that? Yeah, I said that. And when I said the Democrat Party, they're the ones who are espousing the bat guano crazy nonsense. The boys can become girls, the COVID nonsense and protocols and all of that. And they don't want, for instance, they don't want voter ID. But the rest of us do. 70% of Democrats, 90% of Republicans want voter ID. So what does that leave? It leaves 20% over here that are completely out of touch. And then we've got Democrats literally who are now kind of waking from this whatever it was. I like to say that the Syed victory was smelling salts to the Democrats, the average Democrats, like Michigan voters who like the fact that Donald Trump is bringing manufacturing back to Michigan. Yeah, they are, and they're still out there. They really are. And I want to give those people credit for not being down with the insanity of the DSA. And I know that the DSA is going to go down in flames, and I think the Democrat Party, as I've told you, they're going to have to reinvent themselves or disappear into the dustbin of history. How long have I been saying that? A few years now, right? A few years now, right? And how do I know this? Life experience, common sense, and show prep. And I know that there are good Americans out there who love America, who would not want to have been born anywhere else, who would not wanted to have gone anywhere else from their home country. They came to America. They're living the American dream. And all of these punks, these losers, these first generation spoiled brats living here saying America sucks and all that, y'all can go to hell. Y'all can just, go to hell with your Democrat Party. So that is what is happening. And we are uniting. Homeboys, hillbillies, and Hebrews, we are uniting to save America. We are. I feel very good about it. I got lots of audio coming up today from Abdul El Sayed and AOC. She admits she's a Democrat socialist, by the way. I think she's cooking her chances of a presidential nomination. I mean, you look at the founding fathers and then her. You're like, my God, how far we have fallen. All of that, plus lots of special guests. Doug Burns at the bottom of the hour. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
WCBM.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
So AOC was on the Sunday Talks talking about the difference between communism and socialism. I'm going to play some audio of her, and I want you to realize, and you can afford to lose them, but I want you to realize you're going to lose some IQ points listening to her babble.
But by the way, just a quick definitional thing. What, in your mind, is the difference between socialism and communism?
Oh, boy.
I think, to me, the fundamental differences,
That's what she's doing there is delaying while she gathers her thoughts from an otherwise empty head.
there's many.
Yeah.
One prevailing one is democracy. And I believe that Democratic
That's a nonsensical answer. Socialism has nothing to do with democracy.
socialists are fundamentally pro-democracy.
No, you're not actually. No. You guys want to get rid of the Senate. You want to get rid of how we elect the president, by the way. You want to get rid of the border.
And we believe in the ballot box. We
She said we believe, so she just admitted she's a Democrat socialist.
believe in respecting the outcomes of elections
Sure.
and governing democratically,
Sure.
and ensuring that the ideas and policies that are implemented are won through popular vote and popular opinion. And so I think that's why
No. We have the Electoral College for a reason, and we are not a democracy. You fool.
so much of what we focus on is also making sure that we are providing for
Here she goes, straying off in the la-la land.
the majority of Americans, guaranteeing health care, raising wages.
Yeah, so America does not want socialized medicine. There are 210 million of us with private health care we love, and socialized medicine has been rejected, and you guys are diving in, feet first, saying America wants it. This is one of the many reasons you're going to get creamed.
Strengthening the right to a union, and
Strengthening the right to a union. What the hell? Strengthening the right to a union? What?
I think that that's at its core what we're about.
Are you still a member of Democratic Socialists of America?
Of the New York City chapter.
Yeah,
The New York City chapter, not the national.
No, she's not a member of the national. She's a bat guano crazy loon, and she just admitted she's down with all the nonsense. I just said, here she is with a non-answer about the DSA wanting to abolish the police. This is what a toddler would want to do. I want to get rid of my police. I want to get rid of the police.
The abolished prisons, abolished police, which is also...
Yeah, if you even say those words out loud, you should never, ever, ever run for office. You shouldn't be able to.
Positions
If you ever held that viewpoint, my God.
that have been taken by a lot of the progressive candidates who have won.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get around that? I mean,
Yeah.
those are not positions
Yeah, how do you get around that? Oh, my God.
that are supported
Did you hear she froze her eggs this weekend? Oh, boy.
by...
Right.
Most of
I mean,
America.
I think that a lot of these races, even right now, they'll have a tendency to be nationalized.
Yeah.
Okay.
But-
Not answering the question.
These races ultimately
What about abolishing the police?
are local, and all politics are local. My
No, not necessarily. Not when you're running for the National Congress.
understanding is that that Francesca Hong has made clear her present stances to her
Yeah,
electorate.
she's moved away from a lot
Right,
of that.
she's
Like,
moved away from it.
Oh, yeah,
And
no.
I have
She's
a
just
local
lying
city
about it.
councilman that has this saying woke one was crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Okay, that's
and
actually...
Yeah.
and I think
Okay, so my computer is frozen up here. I'm just going to tell you right now, my computer has frozen up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart my computer. We're going to lose the stream for a second. I don't know exactly what the deal is. and then we will be back on the air as we're supposed to. There you go. Okay, we should be back on. Ken, my producer, Redneck MacGyver, we should be back on the air completely with the radio program. See, I told you, my head gets really big, and then I got to adjust the camera. All right, so that happened. That happened during the break. The computer kind of froze up. I'm going to work on the air conditioning here in a second. Let's move on to some other things here. Let me see. AOC. Oh, this is fun. AOC, yeah, this is her actually. No, I already said that. She admitted she's a DSA member. Here is El Sayed quadrupling down on socialized medicine, which Americans don't want, and admitting that it's going to raise taxes for everybody.
Some Americans worry, though, you can only make Medicare free and universal if you increase taxes. So if you are elected and make this push, would you need to increase taxes?
As I've said across this campaign, I am for taxing billionaires their wealth.
What about people who make less than $1 billion and less than $1 million, though, Dr. El Sayed? What about people making less than $1 million?
So, yeah, silence is gold. They want to raise the taxes on everybody. You know, they were going to go after people with homes worth $5 million in New York. They went after 950,000 homeowners. Okay, those are homes worth $1 million. Let's take a break and come back. Doug Burns next. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
This isn't the end of a fight. It's the start of one. Lioness, the critically acclaimed original series from Taylor Sheridan, returns August 2nd only on Paramount Plus. It's the new season. Hidden networks, foreign operatives, and personal betrayals collide while Joe walks the line between duty and family. Don't miss Lioness, starring Zoe Saldana, Michael Kelly, with Morgan Freeman and Nicole Kidman. Now streaming on Paramount Plus.
Unforgivable, those Fauci lies. Unforgivable, your alibi. My alibis took the fifth, 'cause I didn't want to be hauled away and charged with perjury. Never before have actions been more unforgivable in every way. In every way. No one believes a word I say. A word you say. The cover-up was so predictable. My explanation's contradictable. It makes Fauci quite convictable too.
Do you really want another summer like last summer, barely sleeping because you were too hot all night? People blame summer heat for bad sleep when it really may be their mattress trapping heat. And if you already sleep hot, summer only makes it worse. That's why I switched to Ghost Bed. Helps keep you cool all night, no waking up sweaty, tossing and turning, or throwing the covers off at 2 a.m. Cooling tech is built into every mattress. It's not some expensive upgrade you have to pay extra for. Hot sleepers are some of Ghost Bed's happiest customers. Read the reviews. You get incredible support, less stiffness, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. I got my Ghost Bed about 6 months ago, and it changed my life. Ghost Bed gives you one-on-one nights to try it at home. You can sleep on it all summer long and feel the difference for yourself. How many more summers are you going to waste on bad sleep? Ghost Bed is currently offering my audience an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use the promo code Carson. guys, it's Carson. You know, when it comes to supplements, two things matter most. A, that it works, and B, that you can trust it. We hear from people every single day whose lives have changed, including mine, and we'd like you to hear a few of their stories. Chris has spent years of doing physical work, leaving his feet sore at the end of the day. After starting Relief Factor, he felt so good, he did something he'd never done before. He ran a half marathon. Now he tells all his friends about Relief Factor. I can still move furniture, I can still ride my mountain bike, I can still lift heavy weights, and Relief Factor makes all of those tasks pain-free for me. 3 weeks for just $17.76. Simply go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. We hope you'll soon be sharing your story with us too. Again, ReliefFactor.com or 800-4RELIEF. It is a Rob Carson show. Monday, took a few days off, drove across the country. It was kind of strange. Mostly in rain. I mean, like heavy rain across Missouri. If you ever drive I-70 between St. Louis and Kansas City, they get thunderstorms that are bigger than you've ever seen in your life. And I drove 4 hours. It was like, you ever seen that cartoon where the cloud follows the guy around? It's kind of like that. But I am back, and joining me, one of my favorite guests of all time for everything legal, is Doug Burns from Doug Burns Law on X. Hello, Doug. How you doing, brother?
Good, Rob.
So AOC admits she's a Democrat socialist. Did you hear that this weekend?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to talk to you about New York because you live in New York. You've got Zohran Mamdani came out with this pied-à-terre tax, and he ended up expanding it to 950,000 people. 950,000 homeowners got these notices from Zohran Mamdani saying that they owed anything from like $5,000 to $150,000. And people aren't taking it very well. Even liberals who had their addresses doxxed. What is it like in New York since that has happened?
Well, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again, which is that the cynical problem with a lot of politics, local type politics, is that, somebody gets elected, everybody's apathetic, nobody's paying attention, they're busy with their day-to-day lives. They hear snippets of completely superficial, overgeneralized one-liners like, he's going to make everything affordable, Isn't he wonderful? And he gets elected. Then you fast forward the movie, and the stuff that he's doing starts sinking in. Pied-à-terre tax. Might as well just point a gun at somebody and say, write me a check for $10,000.
Yeah.
What's the difference between that and his stupid pied-à-terre tax? But the fact of the matter is, to repeat the mantra or the line I've been saying to you, I think people are going to wake up, and I think people are going to show up, and I think he's going to get voted out of office. You can't this is like Sherlock Holmes 101. This guy's going to breeze into the financial capital of the world, okay?
Yes.
In America, built on hard work, sweat equity, getting ahead, et cetera, and he's going to make it a socialist city. That's not going to happen.
Yep.
So I think he's going to lose the next election. I could be wrong.
Here is Victor Davis Hanson talking about the dark side of pied-à-terre.
He wanted to put the fear of God into property owners. Number two, that they had to prove they were innocent because they were already, in his view and socialist view, guilty of being parasites on society because they had two homes. You are a two-home owner. One is vacant. You're under suspicion. Prove to us that you're not guilty in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
The second thing he was trying to do was to publicize the address and the names, and therefore suggest that many of these might be a second home and vacant, and then with a wink and a nod say, hey, all you envious people out there, you can go do what I did to Ken Griffith's second big man. You can go and take pictures and embarrass them. Hey, all you squatters out there, here's the address. You might find an empty home. Go to it. And all you career criminals that want to break in and ransack it, here's the addresses.
And this is not... history has proven this is what communists do.
Well, Professor Hansen's brilliant, obviously.
Oh, my God.
And I'm always interested in what he has to say. And the fact of the matter is he's right on the money, of course. And it's hard to believe, honestly. I'm like looking out the window. It's hard to believe that this is taking place, again, in the financial capital of the world.
Well, there are a bunch of children who are not in the position to demand anything. And they throw temper tantrums on campus. They said, divest in Israel and all that. And I always said to those who would capitulate to these children, you're not in a position to demand anything. But this, I think I really think they've shot their wad on this, to be quite honest. Here's another little soundbite I want you to hear from about what's going on in Mondami's world. This is a Fox report on the true cost of Mondami's socialism.
We're talking about the mayor of New York City, which could be a mayor coming your way. Independent estimate is $9 billion a year for universal child care. Guess what he said it was? Going to be $5 to $6 billion a year. Yeah. So it's 40% more than he thought.
The key word here, folks, is estimate. Okay, remember the runaway train, train to nowhere in California? I think it's somewhere like 10, 20, 30 times overestimate, and they've got enough track to go from me to you. I mean, so...
he made a lot of promises. He's not going to be able to complete the promises because they were absolutely irrational, without basis, and your city is broke, Doug.
Yep, and the fact of the matter is that, he kills everybody with the smile, the charisma, and so on.
It doesn't work anymore.
Again, I think it's wearing off. I mean, you had mentioned to me, and you were right, that he got snubbed and ridiculed hard at a law enforcement funeral.
Yeah.
Now there's been a second incident in Staten Island, which, by the way, is the most conservative of the five boroughs of New York City. Right, and he was, shouted down and not welcomed and everything else. And the fact of the matter is, you don't have to be a history professor to note that socialism has never worked. That's not a right-wing talking point. That's the way it would be shouted down hysterically. Oh, you're nothing but a conspiracy theorist. Oh, that's a right-wing talking point. That's the unfortunate social media and internet world that we live in now. And by the way, if I say, hypothetically, to go to like the law school classroom, I disagree with Mondami's policy on the pied-à-terre tax, where, he hates Muslims. Well, who said I hate Muslims?
Yeah.
And that is that nonsensical playing the identity thing from the bottom of the deck every single time when I'm simply disagreeing with the guy's policy.
Well, you've got a couple things, and I mentioned this early in the monologue. You have people who've gone to college. There's this woman in Colorado who's running. Oh, no, even Chevalier in New York. She's been in college for 12 friggin' years. She owes hundreds of thousands of dollars of student debt, and the most she made was like last year $30,000. And what they want now is they're blaming everybody else, and they want to punish people who are successful for their failure.
Well, that's like the old joke. She'll never forget her freshman year, toughest 4 years of her life. But joking aside,
yes.
Yeah, no, but joking, I know you comedians, I like to throw in a joke once in a while, but joking aside, look, that's ridiculous, obviously. But also back to Mondami, right? He didn't waste any time moving into Gracie Mansion, did he, Rob?
No, he did not. He isn't living in a refrigerator box like a lot of people who live in New York on Skid Row.
Yeah, it's funny because, you remember the name Ralph Nader? He was a consumer advocate.
Yeah.
He went to Harvard Law School.
Yeah.
Ralph Nader lived in a one-room hovel. To his credit, he walked the walk, is the point. Okay? So these people who profess all this socialism, and he moves right into the lavish mansion overlooking the river, yada, yada. I mean, these people are ridiculous hypocrites. It's completely embarrassing. But I think it's interesting. I had said to you many times on your show that I don't see how, AOC and Gavin Newsom, maybe to a slightly lesser extent, but same principle, could possibly be viable in the flyover areas of America between the liberal, nonsensical, New York City, L.A., and Chicago. And now, all of a sudden, AOC is starting to sing off some different music sheets, and I think it'll be interesting to see Newsom do the same thing.
Well, the polls are showing the odds of Francesca Hong winning the governorship plummeting. Hassan Piker is way behind Mike Rogers in the state of Michigan. If they had elected that Haley Stevens, it would be a tight race. But they chose this guy, and the people, because he only won by 49. He won 49 to 48%. Didn't even have 50%. So literally 1/4 of the population supports him, and a lot of the people who voted for Stevens are going to leave the party and vote for the Republican.
Well, that's this point with the caveat that I'm not, a political expert, yada yada. I'm a legal expert, but the fact of the matter is that a lot of the far, far left stuff is prevailing with very tiny vote totals, very tiny percentages. And that's why I think it'll all self-correct. I've also observed the notion that, politics is very often cyclical and being positive, not negative. And I think it will swing back. New York City will swing way back to another Giuliani or Bloomberg type figure, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the state of New York is going to go Republican. Coming up, Doug Burns, judge rejects the Southern Poverty Law Center bid to dismiss their case as vindictive prosecution. Also, the reflecting pool and the ballroom on the agenda as well. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
BM.
Well, he fits the pattern. Remember how socialists work. We saw that with old Joe Biden from Scranton, that he was now a moderate and everybody behind him were socialists, and then they got in power and they were acted like communists. And that's what socialists do. When they're running for office, they play down all of their radical agendas. When they get in office, they think socialism is passé and they become communist, or they reveal that they were communists all the time. So he's not talking about socialism when he talks about, in his considered opinion, he will confiscate property from private individuals when he sees that they don't fit his standards of proper landlordship. Yeah, he says that
he's doing a lot of that, and also his grocery store promise is really, I mean, Doug Burns, his promise on the grocery store is falling apart as we speak, because he says he's going to sell goods for 30% less, forgetting that somebody might go in from a bodega, buy it for 30% less, take it to their bodega and sell it at a profit. And then also, 100%. People who make millions of dollars could go in there and buy it. It's the most idiotic thing. They've already spent $30 million on. They're going to spend $30 million on one grocery store, so they're already in the hole. This will end within a year, Doug.
No question about it. I mean, he said he was going to have free buses, which is ridiculous. But again, I've said before that very often what they're exploiting too, sort of working in tandem with the Professor Hansen, that there's never accountability cycle to cycle. So it's like, where are the reports that he said he was going to do free buses, and that's not happening.
Yeah, I know.
We need more reports like that. You know what I mean?
Did you see
accountability?
Yeah.
I said with Trump, I've said to network executives, it's like, when his term is up, we must do segments and say, he left the White House, excuse me. You said he was never going to leave.
Yeah.
Okay, he never constructed any concentration camps. You said he was going to do that.
Yeah.
You said he was an existential threat to our democracy to the point that we'll never have another election. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
So the point is, they just move on and they pivot to the next sort of nonsensical thing.
Yeah.
But again, with Mondami, broken record, it's going to all catch up to him, in my view.
100%. What about a judge rejects the SPLC's bid to dismiss the case as vindictive? Federal Judge Alabama denied the SPLC a bid to dismiss the case brought by the Trump administration on the grounds it amounted to a vindictive prosecution. No, I would say the facts of the case are much more powerful than any claim of vindictiveness by the DOJ.
100%. And by the way, on just pure legal X's and O's, vindictive prosecution, selective prosecution, those are hard claims to make out, for technical legal reasons, a little bit in the weeds. I know you like the weeds, but the fact of the matter is you have to demonstrate and show specifically that that entity was singled out and that others are similarly situated who you didn't prosecute. That they didn't have a prayer on that. It's not even close. And again, it must be emphasized that this organization was ginning up hatred when hatred was subsiding, going down. What a disgrace. And everybody should realize that.
Let me ask you about Fauci. And you got the DA in the state of Florida going to go after this guy, says he'd like to see Fauci in court the rest of his life. How do you suppose Fauci is going to pay for some of the things he did?
I think Florida may end up with a case against him. I could put that in the minor crystal ball column.
What about they held him in contempt? The Senate panel held him in contempt. What about that?
The Congress has held him in contempt. They've referred it to the Department of Justice for prosecution. I'll give you an interesting advanced chess lesson to the listeners, and that is that the thing with Jeanine Pirro and the reflecting pool may be sort of an advanced chess game to make it look like, you see, she doesn't rubber stamp Trump. She makes independent decisions. And then when she turns around and indicts Fauci, they've removed that argument from the liberal press.
That I was going to ask you about that, because Trump came out and said further investigation by government includes interviews with 2 National Park Service people, and they observed this guy was in the, tearing up pieces of the bottom of the surface and all that. And Trump said, I don't know if I'm going to fire her or not. So you think he's just kind of playing?
I think he might be. But here's the thing, everybody, again, they make things mutually exclusive. Like as if the case against this particular guy isn't viable, that doesn't mean there wasn't other vandalism, by other people, and so on and so forth. And I'll give the president credit on one thing. Instead of just engaging in political sound bites and one-liners, he actually pointed to a specific witness who he claims has specific information about this defendant. So I'm scratching my head. That's the only reason why I'm thinking about that advanced chess thing, because, to somebody like me who's a junior Sherlock Holmes, it doesn't make sense that the two of them would be in a quote-unquote dispute or argument. They've known each other for decades. Jeanine Pirro, who I know very well from prior media, she was a judge. She was Westchester County District Attorney. She knows what she's doing. So I don't think this seems very odd that there's a dispute over this type of case.
One other thing, 30 seconds, the ballroom, once again, a federal judge putting a halt on it, going to go to the Supreme Court possibly. They've already dug a good deal of the infrastructure for the ballroom. It's so utterly ridiculous.
crystal ball, Supreme Court turns around and says that opinion halting it is stayed until the case is over. Practical effect, the thing gets built.
Yeah, it is utterly ridiculous. Everything that Donald Trump does, no matter how good, is reported in a negative fashion. And they've been wanting that damn ballroom since Jackie O. But her husband got murdered, you see. So it kind of stopped everything. It's like the Arc de Triomphe he wants to be built. The guy who built the city wanted an Arc de Triomphe 150 years, 200 years ago. And Trump is finally doing it.
If the guy cured cancer, they'd come out and say, this is terrible. Look how much world population is going to go up.
All right. Doug Burns, thanks, man. I appreciate you. Have a glorious rest of your week.
Take care. All right.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. Hi, guys. How are you? What a weekend. What a weekend. Last night I asked for your prayers on my social media. I'm not going to tell what's going on, but if you would keep me and my family in your prayers, I would really, really appreciate it. Just pray for our health and well-being, if you wouldn't mind. That's all I'm going to say right now, because I'm optimistic about everything. Try to be joyful every day of my life. And there are a lot of dark forces in your life that try to bring you down, And I refuse to walk in darkness, After this last weekend, it was very hard to come to the show today. But once that mic turns on, it's my show. It's my show, and I'm here to do this for you. And so you guys are my family. You guys mean so much to me, and it means a lot to me to be able to talk to you every day and see your comments and all this, and know that your prayers are coming. So I appreciate that. I really do. But I did have a very nice trip with my daughter. She slept most of the way, of course. It was hard to go back to an empty apartment. It's hard to go back to an empty apartment after having your daughter stay with you for a couple of months. But you got to push them out of the nest, You got to push them out of the nest. Let me see what we're going to talk about here. Here we go. Hold on. Yeah, here we go. Oh, yeah. All right, here we go. It's time for me to talk. All right. Here we go.
You face scrutiny for campaigning with socialist streamer Hassan Piker, who has made a series of inflammatory comments, as you well know, including saying America deserved 9/11, describing Hamas as a lesser evil than Israel. Do you plan to continue to campaign with Hassan Piker in the general election campaign?
Listen to this weasel.
Look, I'm less concerned now with who I'm campaigning with, a lot more concerned about...
No, see, we're kind of concerned because the guy said that 9/11, we deserve 9/11. He's a rabid anti-Semite who's talked about the Jews at Auschwitz. He said so many things that are so unbelievably... if you had Hitler saying the same damn thing, essentially what he is saying, and yet you had him at the party before your election victory. We're not letting this go, bro.
I'm campaigning too. We got a lot of work to do to continue to build the coalition that's going to beat Mike Rogers.
Would you welcome him, though? On the campaign trail with you?
Like I said, I'm a lot more focused on who I'm campaigning to.
No. You're buddies with a Nazi.
So I think we have this notion sometimes on shows like this that we cannot or should not talk to certain groups of people. And I'll tell you that the 3 million people who listen to Hassan are people I want to make sure understand that there's a pathway into our politics.
No, they're anti-Semitic communists. Screw every damned one of them. Honestly. Ridiculous. We get it, okay? There's a thing that you have. It's your intuition, when the hair goes up on the back of your neck and all that. And it's there for a reason. It is part of, evolution. When you sense danger, that happens. Everything about this guy says danger. He is an absolute danger. Here is Mike Rogers, who's running against El Sayed, talking about his extremism.
If you woke up this morning thinking we're still California because Wayne County still doesn't have their vote count in, you may be right. Our election system here in Michigan is broken. We're going to do a lot of work between now and November to help get that thing at least back in some semblance of order. First of all, think about it. He just came out a few minutes ago and said that he won the race, so he's declaring victory. This is really about the heart and soul of our country.
Yeah.
I have never seen someone so radical, so extreme, get nominated by a political party. And the DSA candidates in the state in 2 different congressional races look like they're pulling it off as well. The Democrat Party is lost to this hardcore socialist attitude. And I fought terrorism my whole life. I was an FBI special agent, U.S. Army officer, chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. I find it shocking that...
Yeah. By the way, Mike Rogers crushing El Sayed in 4 of the last 5 polls. And in some polls, he's leading by as much as 49 to 38, 11 points. It would have been a tighter race had they elected Haley Stevens, but it looks like Sayed is in a lot of hot water as Democrats are switching to Rogers because they know this man is a danger. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus. The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit ReliefFactor.com today.
Hold it now. Live from Newsmax Studios in Washington, D.C., the most interesting, informative, and funny show in America, on air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 2, back from a couple days off driving my daughter. That's how you spend a vacation. Yeah, well, that is a hell of a vacation, and I had there 3 days, 2 of them in a car, driving in the rain all day. Yeah, that was my vacation. My gosh, it was just a blast. Anyway, I'm back and better than ever, ladies and gentlemen, back and better than ever. I had mentioned at the end of last hour, polls dropping out of Michigan. Mike Rogers is crushing. I didn't know his first name was Abdul Rahman Mohammed El Sayed in the last 4 out of the last 5 polls. And if you look at the other numbers, it looks like he's falling behind even further. Then you got this race in Michigan. Francesca Hong, these are the odds of the race in Wisconsin for governor. Tom Tiffany has a 62% chance of victory. Francesca Hong, 40%. The GOP had a 15% chance 4 months ago. People are realizing that she is insane, and these are spoiled little children who have no clue about governance. And you know, we as adults who've lived our lives and we've seen the horrors of communism and socialism and weren't indoctrinated in school, we know the issues with it, and we aren't going to turn over the reins of power to these spoiled little brats. There you go. This is Paul Bagala talking about Abdul Sayed's major problems.
Abdul won a narrow victory, and more problematic for him, he has a narrow coalition. The socialists all say, I'm a moderate. I don't like the socialists. I can't stand them. I just want to disclose.
Your candor. That's great.
But they always say, the socialists, that they care about the working class and about black folk. I can tell you, black folk in the working class don't like the socialists.
No. Homeboys, hillbillies, Hebrews, what I say.
Abdul's got a lot of work to do. I talked this week, actually, to one very impressive Democratic black leader.
Yeah, we hate commies. We freaking hate commies. And we're not allowed these little children who, you know, and this is when I was in high school, literally, I remember hearing this idiotic argument from typical liberals that communism is actually the best form of governance. It's just it hasn't been implemented correctly. Well, when you leave 100 million people starved and in body pits, you've lost the argument. It never works anywhere. It never works anywhere. Here's Haley Stevens, old colloquial Haley Stevens. Even she's starting to back off the support of Syed. Here she is with a little word salad.
But several of these either self-identified democratic socialists or more left-leaning opponents can swing to the middle and get those middle-of-the-road independent voters, which are really the only votes up for grabs in so many places that are so close.
Well, I hope you don't mind. I'm drinking my cola.
No, please.
You know, it's the good stuff, right? But I think the nominee's going to be able to, you know.
This is a real person.
No, he knows what he was doing, just as I knew what I was doing. I mean, I can only speak to, you know, my campaign, right? Because I was.
Oh, let's hear what you think about his positions on stuff. How about there, Haley?
And breathing it. I mean,
what about the people he hangs out with?
Want to get in it all. I'm not a big speculator of somebody else's internal thinking. I think we get into a lot of that. And
wow, she is dancing around this.
It's negative, but you know, my beliefs were fully on display. I was not hiding from them. You know, I want a 2-state solution. I, you know, want a Palestinian state. I want dignity for Lebanon and Syria. You know, and I also, you know, want to see a Jewish state that is deeply persecuted continue to be supported. I'm really...
Well, see, there you go. You just kind of switched up everything there. She's afraid now. Most people are. Here are the montage of Democrats in positions of leadership who say that the Democrat Party is... Oh, it's no longer there. Weird. Montage Dems. I'm going to have to find it here. Hold on. Montage Dems. Dems saying that they are a big tent party. Let me see if I can find it. It suddenly disappeared from there. Well, I guess I won't have it. So anyway, Democrats say they're a big tent party. Here is Donna Brazile. And once again, here's my software freezing up again on me. I don't know what it is. Let me find it here. Donna Brazile Oh, it's saying the source is missing. That's just odd. All right, let's try that. I apologize. This is kind of funny because this is you can see the clip on the television or on the screen, but I suddenly can't play it. It's just kind of weird. Here is Scott Jennings destroying Donovan.
But as you know, I've been in this big tent party probably longer than.
Now, this is something the Democrats tried over the weekend. They tried to convince the viewers that the Democrats welcome in the Democrat socialists who want open borders, no prison, who want government-run businesses, want to get rid of the Senate, all of this, saying it's just like the Tea Party. They tried that. That was idiotic. The Tea Party was about preserving the nation as founded. It was about returning to our constitutional roots. It was patriotic. It was loving of America as founded. And it was destroyed by Barack Obama and the left and the media playing along. It was destroyed. These were patriotic and good and decent people. That's what the Tea Party movement was all about. It wasn't about overthrowing the government. It was about returning the government to where it should be, by and of and for the people.
Most people. And I can tell you, we're having the same kind of growing pains I saw on the Republican side, whether it was through the Tea Party in 2010, the activists who helped.
Not at all. Not at all. See, because what we did now is the MAGA conservatives have taken over the Republican Party. And this is the new Tea Party, by the way. And we have a man in the White House who believes in what the Tea Party was all about. That's why we're following him. That's why we are following him. That's why we are defending him. Nothing like what is happening in your party with letting communists in.
About the MAGA movement.
And with all due respect to my friend Donna, there's nothing like, you can't draw any equivalence between the Tea Party movement and the socialists. For one, the Tea Party folks weren't trying to bring about the downfall of Western civilization and the United States of America. Abolish the police, abolish ICE, abolish borders, abolish the Senate, abolish the Constitution. There was nothing like this in the Republican Party. So it's an extreme political ideology that is gaining traction. The Democrat leadership has lost control. They know it. And people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Hong in Wisconsin, Abdul El-Sayed in Michigan. You talk about the Big Tent. The Democrat Jewish Attorney General of Michigan cannot even go to her party's nominating convention because she says, I won't be safe there.
Yeah, remember the last time that a party went socialist and anti-Semitic? It was in Germany a really long time ago. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that just crazy? But El-Sayed, I think, is going to do a faceplant. I think he's going to do a faceplant in the state of Michigan because people are beginning to wake up. They are beginning to wake up. And Jim Gossett has actually done a little song about Mike Rogers in the great state of Michigan, if I can get my computer to play it. And my computer is, for some reason, not going to play it. It should be in 1 second. Let's give it 1 second there. Again, the studio's a little bit hot today. Here it is, Jim Gossett. It's not going to play. It's not going to play. Well, there we go. I'll have to talk about something else. Democrats stunned after former Joe Biden press secretary Michael LaRosa just officially endorsed Mike Rogers to defeat Abdul Rahman Mohammed El-Sayed in Michigan. The socialists are pushing away from Democrats. Amazing news for Mike Rogers. And I think, again, people are beginning to realize that this guy is bat guano crazy. I'm going to have to restart my... I'm probably going to have to restart. No, not here. This is Mike Rogers talking about how well they're doing.
Great. So this is different here. It's a change. We're feeling great. So this is different here. It's a change election. And we have parents that we've met. Matter of fact, we were just going door to door the other day, and a grandmother who was there saying her grandkids had to leave the state of Michigan in tears. In tears, she's telling this story. This is a change election. We are going to make sure that we turn all of that around. We've had 200,000 manufacturing jobs lost.
Yeah. So that's the good news. And I was watching Stephen Turley, Dr. Stephen Turley. You watched Dr. Stephen Turley. He's amazing. I want you to listen to this, okay? Because in Michigan, Abdul El-Sayed was supposed to run away with this 20-point victory over Haley Stevens. As the primary day approached, people began to realize how insane this man is. And he barely squeaked by with 1% of the vote, all right? Here's Stephen Turley explaining how much danger he's in.
But the key term here is just barely. El-Sayed's win was hardly something to celebrate. He beat the Democrats' establishment candidate Haley Stevens, but by just 1%. 8%, literally barely.
Not exactly a mandate.
Dramatically underperformed his polls, and he wasn't even able to crack 50% of the vote. It was a bruising primary that left this radical socialist bloody, broke, and bitterly divisive.
Yeah.
Now, what's so key here is that this is inside the Democrat Party.
Now, what did I tell you? I said the Democrat Party is doing a death spiral into hell. They would have to reinvent themselves or disappear into the dustbin of history.
Bruising, right? That bruising is happening inside a political party that is going through a very real civil war right now. It's a battle for its soul.
Yeah, and they've sold the soul to the Democrat, the DSA. Here's Dr. Stephen Turley talking about how the DSA is not popular.
The median political class think socialism is surging because they want it to surge. But the actual voters, especially the ones who don't obsess over politics every single day, they haven't moved an inch. They don't like socialism. Even Fox News polling found that while 1 in 3 Democrats identified explicitly as socialists, 61% of Americans opposed to the country shifting toward socialism.
Yeah, you think they got a mandate now?
And among Republicans, that number, of course, jumps to a whopping 80%.
Now, here is Dr. Turley talking about how there's no way the DSA is going to win nationally.
Is that there is no possible way that this radical socialist wing can win national elections. It's a mathematic impossibility.
Listen.
And as such, the Democrats, to the extent that they embrace this radical wing, are consigning themselves to the dustbin of history. The Democrats will simply...
What have I been saying? Dustbin of history for the last 6 years.
...no longer be a viable national party. And we're now getting a series of polls back-to-back that show that these concerns among traditional Democrats are absolutely valid. For example, a brand new Washington Post Ipsos poll just dropped this week, and it's an absolute disaster for the socialist wing of the Democrat Party. 55% of Americans say they would not even consider voting for Democrat.
That's less than a majority.
Socialist president.
I said that is a majority.
They wouldn't even consider it as compared to 39% who said they would.
I know.
But here's where it gets interesting. When you break those numbers down by party, you see exactly why this is a Democrat problem and nobody else's. 88% of Republicans say absolutely not. 54% of independents say no. But 75% of Democrats say they're actually open.
Which means the party is divided, which means they can't win nationally. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Here's the deal. The government is over $38 trillion in debt, which means the IRS isn't slowing down. And the tax code is complex and unforgiving. So it's not surprising if you're one of the...
But in most places on earth, they believe that your rights come from your government and from your laws. But ours was founded on the belief that your rights come from your Creator and from God.
This is Julian Epstein, a major Democrat, talking about how the party is not a Big Tent party.
I think the party has gone way too far left, but I think the party has also lost its moral center. I'm Julian Epstein. I'm a longtime Democrat. If this is where the party's going...
I've been saying for 20 years the Democrat Party is morally and intellectually bankrupt.
This is not a party I want to have anything to do with. My piece in the New York Post today basically says that I'm jumping ship, that I am going over to the Republican side in the Michigan Senate race, and I'm supporting Mike Rogers. And this is because I think the Democrats have gone off the deep end.
There are a lot of people, there are a lot of Democrats moving to Mike Rogers, and I give them credit. I really, really do. You know, we've been so divided the last decade. People screaming at Donald Trump and his followers, calling him a Nazi, a white supremacist. All of that was nonsense. It's divided families, destroyed families like mine, destroyed friendships. There used to be a time where Democrats and Republicans could break bread. We could disagree on some things. It really wasn't that big a deal, but we love our country. The Democrat Party is being overtaken by people who hate our country and want to destroy Western civilization. That's all there is to it. And Democrats are beginning to recognize this. And I am saying amen, because you know what happens? The left exposes its flank so we can do what? Kick its butt.
I think the lunatics are in charge of the asylum. There is no room in the tent for people that want to destroy our Constitution. There's no room in the tent for people that want to align themselves with radical Islam. There's no room in the tent for people that want to align themselves with anti-Semitism. And there's no room in the tent, I think, in my view, for people that don't have any interest in building for the next generation, but only want to redistribute what others have created, and want to basically tear down the free market that has been the most effective anti-poverty liberation machine that human beings have ever invented.
Now, what did I say about America? The most powerful engine of individual and economic freedom in the history of mankind. And it is, and people are beginning to realize it. And the Democrat Party, the DSA, picked a really bad year to try to take over our country. In the 250th anniversary of our birth, where Democrats wouldn't even show up to the National State Fair to represent their people in their states. And then, of course, the 25th anniversary of 9/11, which is coming up very quickly here. Very quickly. Here's Lindy Lee. She's a frequent Newsmax contributor. I like her. Talking about the Democrat Party and people fleeing.
Absolutely, Lauren. Thank you for having me. I'm one of the reasons why they're not I was one of the people who exposed the multi-million-dollar payments that they made to celebrities, and also their extreme leftist lurch to the left. This is why donors like me left the party in droves, and this is why they are so in broke, they literally had to put up their own headquarters up as collateral. They can't even get a text back from donors. So I don't want to hear anything about a big...
They're going broke.
You should not be normalizing socialism like this. Socialism has been shown to have failed everywhere it's been tried. And these people, you look at the clips, they look like they're being held hostage. Chuck Schumer knows that if he doesn't say what he just did, AOC is going to primary him. So he's trying to race her to the bottom. It's just ridiculous. And Americans already rejected it in 2024.
Yeah, absolutely 100%. It's not becoming more popular. Here's Stephen Turley. Democrat socialism is not becoming more popular. It's a little more high profile because of people like Abdul El-Sayed and Chevalier in New York.
So that's not a coalition. That's a going out of business set.
Yeah.
This is what James Carville is screeching about. Rasmussen's Neapolitan News poll backs this up. 49% unfavorable to socialism versus just 31% favorable. And pollster Scott Rasmussen made an important point there. He said these numbers have basically remained unchanged over the last 5 to 10 years, despite all the media hype about Zoran Mamdani and these DSA candidates winning primary.
It's funny because Zoran is honestly going down in flames right now. Absolutely going down in flames in New York City right now. People are beginning to realize that none of the pipe dreams of free childcare and all of that were even possible. Not even possible. Here's Stephen Turley with some of the statistics that should have Democrats terrified.
You can see a kind of double split forming here. Nearly half the Democrats in this poll are very concerned about this rise of socialism in their own party. all the while the rest of the country is splitting away from this stuff entirely.
Yes.
But here's a number that should terrify every Democrat strategist watching the 2028 map. An Echelon Insights poll found socialism sitting at a negative 29 net favorability with the general public. Capitalism is way up, all right? Americans are overwhelmingly capitalistic, but socialism is way, way down. And the Democratic Socialists of America organization itself is sitting at negative 21. And when they asked about straight-up communism, of course, negative 73. 5% favorable, 78% unfavorable.
Now, you saw how badly Kamala Harris got beaten in 2024. Yet these fools are going to take the country further left. They're adult children. They are adult children. They haven't learned anything. And this is actually it's a blessing, to be quite honest. I've said this since Kamala lost the election. Is that it's a blessing they haven't learned anything. Here's a little montage of Democrats who aren't going to vote for Abdul Sayed.
I believe that Abdul will make a lot of headlines and lose in November. And we need a winner coming out of Michigan in November, and that's not Abdul.
I'm very anxious about the socialist aspect of what Abdul and his supporters represent. I'm a liberal, but I'm not a socialist.
Yeah, 100%. And by the way, Michigan was one of the greatest manufacturing states in the history of mankind. Donald Trump's bringing manufacturing back there, opening auto plants again where they were closed for decades, all of this stuff. And Michiganders are going to reject Abdul Sayed, and the Democrats are stuck with him, okay? If they would have stuck with what's his name in Maine, right? They're stuck with this guy in Michigan, and they know they're in a lot of trouble. Let's take a break and come back. Coming up, Ashley Davis, Republican firebrand. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
This isn't the end of a fight. It's the start of one. Lioness, the critically acclaimed original series from Taylor Sheridan, returns August 2nd only on Paramount Plus. It's the new season. Hidden networks, foreign operatives, and personal betrayals collide while Joe walks the line between duty and family. Don't miss Lioness, starring Zoe Saldana, Michael Kelly, with Morgan Freeman and Nicole Kidman. Now streaming on Paramount Plus. Do you really want another summer like last summer, barely sleeping because you were too hot all night? People blame summer heat for bad sleep when it really may be their mattress trapping heat. And if you already sleep hot, summer only makes it worse. That's why I switched to Ghost Bed. Helps keep you cool all night, no waking up sweaty, tossing and turning, or throwing the covers off at 2 a.m. Cooling tech is built into every mattress. It's not some expensive upgrade you have to pay extra for. Hot sleepers are some of Ghost Bed's happiest customers. Read the reviews. You get incredible support, less stiffness, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. I got my Ghost Bed about 6 months ago, and it changed my life. Ghost Bed gives you 101 nights to try it at home. You can sleep on it all summer long and feel the difference for yourself. How many more summers are you going to waste on bad sleep? Ghost Bed is currently offering my audience an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use the promo code Carson.
The left is not bright. There is no birthright. All the lies about it they've been telling you. Men and girls sports, nobody supports. Their claims of ICE misconduct are not true. Don't catch the stupid, don't buy their BS. The climate change is real, voter fraud's not. Don't catch the stupid, do not believe them, because distraction and diversion's all they got. Gain-of-function research, never heard of it. They're always cheating and misleading with another mail-in ballot scheme. Redistribution is their solution. A socialist America's their dream. Don't catch the stupid, you just can't do it. They say we should defund the police. They're teaching sex ed in kindergarten. Their destructive policies must cease. Like my personal favorite, Medicare for all. Statues are fallen. It's so appalling. Of common sense, they are so bereft. Don't catch the stupid, reject their nonsense. Everything is stupid on the left.
Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
Hey guys, it's Carson. You know, when it comes to supplements, two things matter most. A, that it works, and B, that you can trust it. We hear from people every single day whose lives have changed, including mine, and we'd like you to hear a few of their stories. Chris has spent years of doing physical work, leaving his feet sore at the end of the day. After starting Relief Factor, he felt so good, he did something he'd never done before. He ran a half marathon. Now he tells all his friends about Relief Factor. I can still move furniture, I can still ride my mountain bike, I can still lift heavy weights, and Relief Factor makes all of those tasks pain-free for me. 3 weeks for just $17.76. Simply go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. We hope you'll soon be sharing your story with us too. Again, ReliefFactor.com or 800-4RELIEF.
But we do believe in taxing the hell out of millionaires. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what does taxing the hell out of them mean?
Yeah, you know, I don't have like a solid, but I think.
But shouldn't you? I mean, if you're the co-chair, of the DSA, shouldn't you be more specific than just taxing the hell out of something? What exactly do you mean?
So again, it's democracy, right? And we have to look at what we need to spend and what we need. We don't want to depend on...
That is a DSA co-chair saying that she just wants to tax the hell out of millionaires. And it ends right there. That's as deep as her argument gets. That is the grade level 3 of politics. And we're seeing it throughout the DSA. These are young people who have very high, expensive degrees, owe a lot of money for those expensive degrees and have no jobs. And they're blaming everybody else who want to tear down America because of it. Joining us to talk about this and so much more, GOP strategist, global keynote speaker, trusted advisor on politics, friend of the Rob Carson Show, Ashley Davis. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm just watching this DSA movement. You know, there was all this momentum about the DSA taking over and everything. And it looks like they are taking over the Democrat Party. But the more we're finding out about it, the more it's being rejected. We're seeing polling really decline for Syed in Michigan. We're seeing the chances of this crazy Francesca Hong in Milwaukee becoming the mayor. What are your thoughts on the rise and fall of the DSA?
Well, I think, first of all, I'm really watching what's going to happen tomorrow in Wisconsin with the governor's race, as you mentioned, with Representative Hong running. I mean, she has said some crazy things in everything from, obviously, everything she wants for free in regards to child care and higher taxes, but also wants to abolish Thanksgiving because she thinks it's racist. So, I mean, I think it's one thing, and I do also think that there are a group of individuals. I mean, obviously, Bernie Sanders is kind of the godfather of this movement. Yes. But a lot of this movement and excitement comes from the younger generation. And if you're the younger generation and feel that you're going to get everything for free, I mean, why not vote for it? Because you don't really understand the repercussions. But I'm really watching this race tomorrow, tomorrow. I couldn't remember what day it was. Because it's one thing for Mamdani to win in New York, or at least two congressional candidates are going to definitely be a part of the Democrat minority or majority after November. But there's also maybe even two more. But what I'm watching is obviously El Sayed in Michigan was the first major race in kind of the Midwest so to speak, that has won, and Wisconsin would be the second. And the real question is can they win? I mean, I think if you're Speaker Johnson right now, I think if you're John Thune right now, you're thinking, thank goodness it's giving us a break, because I'm not going to put lipstick on a pig here, Rob, and say that everything's going well on the Republican side.
I know.
And so I think that it's good that the alternative to our candidates, even though maybe you're not happy right now with what's happening in Iran, or maybe you're not happy with some of the gas and grocery prices, however, you would not want to have these alternative candidates, which the Democrats are supporting. But by the way, let's not just forget what we elected here in Washington, D.C.
No, yes.
I know you're in Virginia-based, but she is a major progressive. I mean, she's actually to the left of Mondami. So, I'm very scared about that.
Well, Donald Trump is talking about taking over the District of Columbia, and because she would halt all the progress. And you've noticed, living in Washington, D.C., how glorious Washington, D.C. has become. I mean, it is remarkable. I moved here about 10 months ago, and right after I moved here, 2 weeks later, he brought in the National Guard and started. And I said, you know what? Thanks for the welcome. It's a little more than I expected, Ashley. But no, honestly, isn't it? It's like I was down for the Cherry Blossom Parade this year, and it was Disney World down there, clean as can be, no graffiti, everything clean, not a cigarette butt on the ground. Absolutely remarkable what's happening in Washington, and all the fountains and everything are working. It's beautiful.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. Also, just in regards to what this was like 3 years ago, where you had homeless camps everywhere.
Yeah.
You had, it was just flat out dirty. And listen, I think our current mayor, unfortunately, she didn't run again, but she actually had a good working relationship, Mayor Bowser, with the president. She understood what the president was able to deliver that she couldn't, because, we also have to remember that the city council here in Washington, D.C. is very progressive, and so they want everything for free, and they don't want to have our city looking nice.
I think it'll be a damn shame if D.C. heads back to where it was. I mean, I wasn't here 3 years ago, but DuPont Circle, the last time I was there, it was homeless people with shopping carts full of garbage. But I went about a month ago, and there were families playing Frisbee and having picnic lunches in DuPont Circle.
Absolutely. In Georgetown, right on Rock Creek Parkway, for those that know where that is, there were like refrigerators on the side of Rock Creek Park, because the homeless were actually making like entire camps.
Yeah.
And so it was just horrible. So I think the city looks gorgeous. It looks exactly how our nation's capital should look, and it's something we should be proud of.
Here is, by the way, Francesca Hong. This is her flip-flop on Thanksgiving. I want you to hear this.
Thanksgiving is also a time that's incredibly painful for many people in our communities. My favorite holiday is Thanksgiving, because
there you have it.
Yeah, there you have it. Okay, so she is spewing the talking points of the left in academia, that we are a nation of colonizers who chase the Native Americans off their land, and we should be ashamed of it. And then she literally goes back and says, "My favorite holiday is Thanksgiving." I mean, it would be funny if it weren't so just serious.
Yeah, and actually the clip you made before I got on about how people don't even know what it means to actually tax the rich, or even tax anybody, or tax the hell out of whatever she said. That's the issue, and also the consequences of what people say. I think Hong would be a disaster. Again, I'm not that sad that these people, guys and girls, are getting elected on the Democrat side, because it gives Mike Rogers in Michigan for Senate is a very good moderate candidate, which fits into that state. And the Republican candidate in Wisconsin for governor is a very good candidate. So I actually think that it's going to be something that we can really showcase the difference between the two candidates. But she's going to win. I think she's ahead by Hong, that is. I think she's ahead by like 15 points going in. Now, granted, because I'm like negative Nelly on polls these days. I think that, also Al-Sayed was supposed to win by a landslide, and he didn't end up winning. So we'll see what actually happens.
What do you think about Maine, by the way? You've got a guy who now we know married his cousin, and his children are his second cousins.
Yeah, well, first of all, even before everything that's happened in Maine, I'm a huge believer that Susan Collins knows exactly how to be reelected in her state.
Yep.
Obviously, she's not able to vote all the time and doesn't vote all the time with some of the Republican priorities, but it's much better to have someone like Susan Collins in office and then her opponents, either of them at this point. But I think that she knows how to win her state. She has brought so much back to Maine, and I'm hoping that the more people find out about this, I'm forgetting his name actually right now because he's a new candidate. But I mean, I think that it's going to be better for her.
Absolutely. Let's take a break and come back, Ashley, if you can hold on, please. This is the Rob Carson Show. County.
We have a lot of internal reckoning to do, but that it's important to see it through the lens of toxic white supremacy culture that is ingrained in this country's history, that racism is actually at the backbone of this history. And when people talk about Constitution, federalism, the rights of the people, we really have to take a step back and look at, how those rights have really only been offered up to a certain group.
Okay, that is Francesca Hong running for mayor of Wisconsin. What these people haven't realized is that, the supposedly toxic white people, they are from dozens of different nationalities and countries, and they came here to build America, feed the world, by the way. But these spoiled, entitled children, who by the way, Ashley Davis, did you notice They talk about how terrible they've got it and everything, yet they carry a $1,200 phone, they order $7 Starbucks beverages, and they have Uber Eats bring their Chipotle burrito. It's kind of funny, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, again, this is just a lot of these voters, and I've been looking up and studying what the demographics have been. A lot of the excitement for these candidates are definitely people under 30 years old. So if you heard that at under 30 years old, I mean, I was actually working since I was 23. I'm sure you were as well. 22, actually.
14 for me, but not professionally.
Well, yes, professionally I'm talking about.
Yes,
but
of course.
I just think
Yeah,
that,
23.
you know, if you heard everything was for free and you didn't have to pay for anything and didn't understand what you'd have to pay in taxes and you don't have kids or own a house or anything, or your parents are paying for everything, wouldn't you think this is a great idea too?
Well, yeah.
But that's what's scary.
Yeah. Well, you know, the thing, also, this is why Joe Biden was paying off all these student loans. This is why he was just doing it under executive order, just paying off billions of dollars worth of student loans. My son...
By the way...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah. No, I was just going to say, you know, when Joe Biden came in and started reversing everything that Trump did first term and how everyone then went extreme left as it did, and then the country just corrected itself, there's this movement to go back to where we were and calling everyone racist, all these people, all these candidates that are anti-Semitic, all of the stuff that is creeping back into our culture is really scary.
I don't think it's. I think it reached its zenith, to be quite honest, a couple years ago, and I'm sad to say that woke has not been defeated. I thought we really had defeated it, but the DSA have brought it back with some, victories around the country. By the way, latest poll: Mike Rogers leading El Sayed 49-38. When it was him versus Haley Stevens, that colloquial little thing there, it was 45-44, and she was ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I think they really stepped in it. I really do. I think they really stepped in it. And I'm glad, actually, Syed is the candidate.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But also, it's August. I've always say that these campaigns really don't start until after Labor Day. So we'll see what happens and what momentum. There's going to be a lot of money thrown into that race, both on the Republican side and Democrat side. But hopefully those numbers stick. I think Mike Rogers had a sigh of relief that day too when El Sayed won. So, and again, with the governor's race in Wisconsin, I think the same thing will happen if Hong is the candidate.
The people like Francesca Hong, she is the caricature of the elite brainwashed leftist. And we used to make fun of them. We used to make fun of it, white supremacy and all the colonization and all of that. Now we actually, she's spewing those talking points as a real candidate. And I certainly do take her seriously. But at the same time, I don't think it's going to win in a national election.
No, and I even think all the backtracking she's doing, like the clip you played earlier about her now saying Thanksgiving is her favorite holiday instead of abolishing it, I think all of those things people understand. Look, people are tired of politicians in general. I think that's why there's some of this movement happening. I think that's what happened in 2016 with Trump. People are just tired of traditional politicians. And so, but what she's doing, and she is a politician, she's a House member in Wisconsin, but she's lying. I mean, she put all this stuff out on social media. She said all this stuff that she believed in. And now that she's in this race and it's unpopular, this is what Mondami did a little bit when he was in his final throes of mayor. And look what's happened since he's been elected.
What do you think
about? Worse.
What do you think?
The anti-Semitic.
Oh, go ahead. Well, no. I think Mondami. I think the bud is off the rose on Mondami already. I think the bud is off the rose. He reached his zenith already. He's doing the denouement. He's going down. He has not been able to fulfill the free bus rides. Free child care is going to cost $9 billion as opposed to $4 billion or something like that. The city is broke. He's got 5 grocery stores coming online. One not for 3 years. It's costing $30 million. Already in the hole. Already in the hole. There's no digging out. You can't just make $30 million up selling groceries at a grocery store. You're already in the hole. That grocery store will never succeed. This is just a glorified food bank. Do you feel like Mondami's star is fading?
Absolutely, but also, I mean, all of us that understand that politics understand that he was going to fade, because you can't run on all of the stuff that costs money when there is no money, exactly as you said.
Yeah.
And also, by the way, the mayor of New York didn't have control on, free buses. There's the group that actually has to approve that, the board that actually has to approve those prices. So all of the stuff that he was running on that sounds really good if you're just paying attention to politics 10% of the time or 20% of the time. But when actually putting policy in place, it's never going to happen.
Yeah. I think we're going to have a Republican governor of New York, and hopefully he'll do something about Mamdani. I'd love to see Mamdani removed from office, but that's kind of a pipe dream. Listen, Ashley, it was so great to have you on the show today. Thank you for joining me, Ashley Davis. Tell everybody where people can find you on the social media and whatnot.
Sure. All of my feeds, just Instagram and LinkedIn is where I'm most active, and X is Ashley Davis, DC. And that's my handle for everything.
All right, very good. Well, delight talking to you. We'll talk again soon.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information. 800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. That's 800-917-8730.
Hey everyone, Kim Klasick here. I'm inviting you to join me for the second annual Putting Social on August 20th from 5 to 8 p.m. at Turk Valley Resort. This is not your average golf outing. It's a fun, casual 5-hole putting challenge with delicious hors d'oeuvres and a cash bar. Come out and compete or just enjoy the vibe with friends and new faces. Here's where it gets exciting. The top 5 scorers from the opening round will join me for a long-distance, 1-hole championship putt. The player closest to the pin wins the grand prize, which is a private round of golf with me and 3 guests, including green peas and carp.
Oh, yeah, babe.
Tickets are just $40. Get yours today at WCBM.com, and I'll see you out on the green at Turk Valley Resort.
The second annual Kim Klasick Putting Social is brought to you by the Smile Design Center and RBC Wealth Management, featuring Tim Herb's Morning Market Flash.
Just want to apologize. I want to apologize to the streamers. I was returning some stuff, so I wasn't able to talk to the streamers in that last break. I apologize, guys. It's been a really, really busy weekend as I, move my daughter back to school. So anyway, that's what I did this weekend. A great conversation, by the way, with Ashley Davis. Enjoyed that thoroughly. She's very well spoken. She knows more about DC. She worked for the Bush administration for a while. So she's pretty cool. Major University axes Hassan Piker's lecturer, vows to tighten standards. A University of Washington lecture featuring progressive Twitch commentator Hassan Piker is off, with school officials citing a flawed planning process as the reason for the cancellation. Piker, a far-left streamer and YouTube personality, was set to appear in January as part of the school's 26-27 speaker series. The university said in a statement, a review of the process by which the event was planned. It was determined that a process for organizing the event did not meet the necessary level of rigor. So he's an anti-Semite. He's a very dangerous individual, and maybe he's a little bit more than old liberal academia can handle. It's kind of funny, right? Oh, here's a little something here. Let me find this real quick. Tim Scott's a pretty cool guy. Tim Scott was talking a little bit about Michelle Tafoya in the state of Minnesota, and running for Senate, and listen to what he has to say about the national races in the midterms.
Right. When you look at these red states, particularly that, you say they're not in play, but they're all close. Do any of them keep you up at night?
No, I tell you what, not much keeps me up at night, to be honest with you, Manu. The one thing that gets me excited when I think about this election cycle on the map is Minnesota. I think Minnesota, we have a real shot with Michelle Tafoya. Yeah. She has done a really good job on fundraising. We just did an event for her. We've done 2 events for her recently, one in the state and one a national call for the donors. What we know without question is she is within a point of the lieutenant governor right now.
Wow.
So if we can continue to let her show the contrast between the 2 candidates, I think Michelle Tafoya is the kind of Republican that can win.
You think you'll pick up seats?
I think we could have a 54-seat majority.
Okay.
What?
Not 46, not 53.
What? He says we could get a 54% or 54-seat majority in the Senate? Who's been saying that I think we're going to win in the midterms for a while now? This guy right here. And I realize there's a lot of doubt about the mindset of most Americans. We see people get elected and you shake your head and like, how in the hell did that happen? But I, like for instance, in 2024, I just, when Kamala Harris became the candidate, I laughed out loud. I did a spit take. I said, there's no way she's ever going to be the president. I felt it in my heart because I know these things. I just know these things. And I think this temper tantrum by these little children, these socialists trying to take over the Democrat Party, what they're doing is they're dividing the Democrat Party and making none of them electable. None of them. Because you got solid conservative support behind Republican candidates and a split Democrat Party. You don't win a majority that way. There you go. Let's take a break and come back. Hour number 3 of the Rob Carson Show is right ahead. Don't go anywhere.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus. The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
You don't need to live with aches and pains. Visit relieffactor.com today.
Hold it now. You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 3 of the show. My studio is mad at me, I guess. We've had some technical things today because I took a couple days off and drove my daughter back to Kansas City, which I don't think I want to do again for a while. I don't want to do it again. It's I'm going to tell you, the trip, it gets really bad when you go from Indianapolis to St. Louis. It's terrible. Indianapolis to St. Louis is absolutely the worst. It's like 35 north of Des Moines to Minneapolis. Terrible. Or I-80 across Kansas. Or I should say that I-80 would be across Nebraska. And then it's just terrible. Nothing to see, nothing to do, whatever. Daughter's sleeping, dog's in the back. Oh, I got to tell you, we had our dog. So her little dog, which is my mother's dog that I got and I've let her have, Desi. We stopped by Buc-ee's. Right? And I go into Buc-ee's, which, by the way, unbelievable, spectacular, you can't begin to imagine how awesome it is. And I go into Buc-ee's and I, come back out and I think she let the dog out, right? She let the dog out. So I get in the driver's seat and we drive. We start driving about 40 miles away. And she looks back, where's Desi? And the dog bed is empty. There's nobody there. And all of a sudden, it's like freaking out. It's like remember the movie Raising Arizona when John Goodman was in the car and they forgot the baby on the roof of the car, and they're like, oh, like that. That was what it was like. So we stop the car, we pull over to the side of the road. She gets out, she's ready to freak out, and Desi had fallen down under the seat of the car and was down on the floorboards. Yeah, it was that. It was about the worst moment you could imagine. Like realizing that you may have left your dog at a truck stop in the middle of Ohio, and you're 50, 60 miles away, and you didn't have the dog's tag on its neck. It was just like, oh my God. That's the kind of trip I had. It was, like I said, I don't see making that drive anytime soon. Not really. Oh my gosh, Joe Scarborough is really mad because the Democrat Party is not distancing itself from Hassan Piker.
But please, I don't need people telling me. Oh, you have to just turn a blind eye to people saying that women getting raped on October 7th didn't matter.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things.
He did, yeah.
No, Americans aren't going to support that. This is not about me.
Wow.
This is about the Democrats, once again, fumbling the football on the 2-yard line when they have a chance to make great gains, but being so woke.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to call it woke 1, woke 2, or woke 3, but being too woke to call out the obvious.
Yeah. Think about this. We had a candidate in the state of Maine had a Nazi tattoo on his chest. No doubt about it. Had a Nazi tattoo on his chest. Had a kick profile in his 40s. He'd had it for 10 years. It's a website for picking up younger women, maybe even girls who are too young to date adults. You had him criticizing Purple Heart recipients. He's a communist, among other things. And then, of course, allegations of sexual abuse and even rape. And the Democrat Party, the only reason why the Democrat Party decided to not support him and kick him out was because he was losing. It's because he was losing. This is a desperate party, desperate for a victory, and irrational in its choices, thinking that they will have a big tent. They'll invite in this Democrat Socialists of America, and thinking that's going to carry them to majorities in the House and Senate. It's not going to. It's not going to, because the country hasn't gone there completely yet. I mean, they've been at it, brainwashing our kids in schools for decades. They've been at it. They did in the summer 2020. They tear down our statues. They got rid of the Washington Redskins. They took Paw Patrol off television. So stupid. Then they censored us completely. Then they foisted COVID on us and shut down our businesses and our churches. And it didn't kill us. It didn't kill us, and we're not going to forget this. We're not going to forget this. And I think there are enough patriots out there, homeboys, hillbillies, and Hebrews on both sides of the party. They're going to save the country. Absolutely 100%. Here's a little bit more of Joe. I love Joe Scarborough freaking out.
I swear to God. It's crazy that we're even having this conversation. Yeah. If somebody says a woman being raped doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, it's okay to call that person out and demand that candidates distance themselves from those people.
Wow.
If you want to rule...
rule? If you want to rule, what, really?
If you want to rule over a party and win elections.
Wow.
If somebody says going to a rally the day after Hamas slaughters more Jews than any time since the Holocaust, it's okay for Chuck Schumer. It's okay for Hakeem Jeffries to call that despicable and demand that people distance themselves.
I love this, absolutely. This is the death spiral into hell that I was talking about. Death spiral to hell that I was talking about. Jim Gossett, he comes up with comedy. He came up with a song about Mike Rogers in the state of Michigan against El Sayad. It's called Mr. Rogers on the Rob Carson Show.
Mr. Rogers' first name, Mike, is headed for the Senate. His opponent is a proponent.
Yeah, he's nuts.
Of Islamic extremism, Abdul should take a hike. Jews he's bashing and always trashing. 9/11 El Sayad won't condemn. Michigan should be terrified of him.
They are.
Mike Rogers is winning, let's hope and pray that it continues to stay that way. Vote down Abdul, he is a tool. El Sayed is a hater.
Nice.
He's a threat, the biggest yet. We can't elect this hater.
There you go. That is Jim Gossett, ladies and gentlemen. Jim Gossett. While that song was playing, I changed into a sweater out of a sport jacket and into some tennis shoes. It was pretty crazy how that happened. Abigail Scambergler, she is the original Marxist who lied about what she was to become the governor of the state of Virginia. She's already tanked completely. Tanked absolutely completely. In rural Virginia, she was out, I guess, some sort of a fair or a rodeo out in central Virginia. Here's the response. Boo! Boo! Wow.
It is such a pleasure to be here in Newsmax, and I hope that you continue to enjoy extraordinary music, community, and coming together on this fantastic final day of the convention. Thank you so much and enjoy.
Yeah, get out of here. I love this. You know, we had a revolution in 2024. When the election was taken from us in 2020, and we were censored and everything, and for 4 years we had to endure the abuse of Joe Biden as the president of the United States. I was at the car dealership that I used to work at over the weekend. Hold on, I'm having an issue here. There you go. I was at the car dealership where I used to work. It's Hendrick Toyota in Merriam, Kansas. I was talking to my friends Sam and Dave. No, not the guys who did Hold On, I'm Coming. Two different guys. And we were talking about the affordability crisis, and it all happened under Joe Biden's watch. It all happened under Joe Biden's watch. I watched as that first year, the first full year of his presidency, had 9% inflation. And grocery prices went up between 20 and 30% over 4 years. The southern border was wide open. For 4 years, we were screaming at the television, please, for God's sake, shut down the southern border. And he did nothing about it. And we had to sit there and endure that abuse for 4 years. For 4 years. You know, Jan Sixer sat in prison for 4 years without a trial. And Joe Biden didn't do anything. He was on vacation 40% of the time. And then after Kamala Harris was named the candidate, he went on vacation 60% of the time. And we are battle hardened. We are not battle weary. We are just beginning to fight. Here is John Fetterman talking about how the Democrat Party failed Americans on the border when Joe Biden was the president.
Without a doubt, the Democratic Party, we destroyed our
border, 11 million migrants through the Biden administration. When you have 300,000 migrants showing up at the border, that's the size of Pittsburgh. And now how can we handle them? That's every month. And Democrats pretended that it's all good, it's all fine.
Yeah, they lied to us. And we sat there and we endured all of it. You know, Joe Biden made the mess and he rubbed our face in it. I use that analogy. You know, if you're a bad dog owner, you think that if your dog makes a mess, you rub his face in it, he's going to learn something. They're not going to learn anything. It's just an awful thing to do. That's what the Democrat Party did. They made a mess and rubbed our faces in it, and it was absolutely awful. This is Batya Ungar-Sargon, who we just love, talking to a political candidate, or a strategist, Matt Whitlock, on Syed and the Democrat Party.
A base, right? Trump is not on the ballot, and when Trump is not on the ballot, people tend to turn out less. How does he navigate these narrow straits?
To your point, I'd love to see Mike Rogers already out there making appeals. He's got videos online saying to the majority of Democrats who voted against Abdul al-Sayed, I can be your champion. I can represent the sort of normie leadership that you need. Because as Melissa was saying, Abdul al-Sayed is not a normal Democrat, and he's not a normal politician at all, a politician at all. The two things he's best known for is hatred of Israel and socialized medicine, which will lead to banning private health insurance, both of which are not popular among normie voters.
Yes.
The coalition is shrinking the Democrat Party. It's always kind of funny to hear the defense of the sort of DSA movement from people like Chuck Schumer saying we're a big tent party, when clearly the tent is shrinking, as your monologue showed very, very clearly here. And I think Republicans do have a very clear advantage going into November.
Now you think about this. Okay, so right now you got two parties. Okay, two parties. One is 90+% in favor of Donald Trump. Okay, 100, but no, not quite 100, but way up there, way up there. Over here, you've got the Democrat Party, okay? So 50% of the pie, Republican over here, 50% of the pie, Democrat over here. But this part of the pie, the Democrat side of the pie, the 50%, is being cleaved in two. It's actually more like 1/3 to 2/3. So 1/3 is the DSA and all of that stuff. Now here's where what things happen. When this party is split and a DSA candidate ends up winning, they're not coming together to vote for the DSA candidate. They're saying, I'm going to vote for Mike Rogers or I'm going to leave the party. You can't win with a party divided into two separate factions, one that will not vote with you because you're so incredibly left of center. This is why the Democrat Party is really screwing itself by not saying Hassan Piker is wrong. We have to distance ourselves from that. We can't be anti-Semitic, all of this stuff. But the Democrat Party is so desperate to win an election, they would vote for the devil himself if they thought the devil himself could win. And apparently, Americans don't want the devil. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
Was in big trouble with the
105.9 FM in Harford County.
Gonna rejoin.
Okay.
So you preferred your pronouns to be
they and them.
they, them. Okay.
So, do you need me to explain how to use that?
Nope, because I'm not going to.
There you go. There you go. That is, that's just perfect. Hello, back from 3 days off. Glad to be here, guys. My son graduated with a degree from the University of Kansas, and right now he's kind of going through some difficult times deciding what he wants to do and what he can do. And it is very painful for me to watch. I mean, exceedingly painful to watch. I love him very much. I want him to be successful. But he's really struggling. And a lot of young men are dropping out of the workforce and giving up. And, it is a terrible thing. I think my son's going to come out of it. But Mike Rowe talked to Bill Maher this weekend. And, if you got a kid who's deciding what he or even she wants to do with their lives, and you're thinking about a big university and spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on an education, you might want to reconsider, because building stuff is back.
There's so many jobs that need to be done, and we don't have enough people to do them. I mean, because of so many things that are, the environment is kind of going off the edge, and AI and God knows what else. Fires, we saw all the need for rebuilding here. Rebuilding, to me, is going to be a very big growth industry, and there's just not enough people to do it.
We had $1.1 trillion in outstanding student loans when you and I talked last. Now it's 1.8 trillion. Most of that's held by...
I want you to think about this. This is heartbreaking. This is heartbreaking. And you can laugh at the Democrat socialists, because they're experiencing it, and their reaction to it is it's America's fault and they want to tear down America. That's ham-handed and ridiculous. Well, we have so many kids graduating college with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt. How long did it take you to pay off your $200,000 mortgage or your $300,000 mortgage? How long did it take you? 30 years? We've got to reinvent higher education. We've got to gut higher education. The Trump administration has already done some things about getting rid of degrees unless they have a path to success that will pay the bills and pay the loans and all of this. I paid off about $20,000 of my son's student loans. He still owes $60,000. He's been out of school for about 3-4 years. He still owes $60,000. I'm doing my best to keep up with my daughter's art school, but we're having to borrow some money for it. I got to tell you, you look at this, and I was mentioning earlier. I was at the Toyota dealership. I was talking to my friends, and I was out walking on the floor, and I was there in the 2020. I think it was the last year I was there, and the most expensive car on the showroom floor was $53,000, and it was the new Supra, or the TRD Pro Tacoma, $53,000. The 4Runner, not even a TRD Pro, but a Sport, is $71,000. $71,000 for a car. The Tundra, which the most expensive one used to be $55,000, it was called a 1794 edition, it's $85,000 now. People are leaving that dealership with $2,000 car payments. You got kids who owe $150,000, $200,000. Can you imagine how agonizing it is? And I want to, honestly, despite the Democrat socials, I want you to put yourself in their shoes, because they really got bleeped. They really got bleeped by higher education. Nonsense. I had an advisor when I was in college, and I wanted to get out in 3.5 years, and he convinced me to stay 4.5 years. I should have never listened to him, because all academia wants you to do is stay in academia. They don't care. Honestly, you've got this Chevalier idiot in New York. She's been in college for 12 years. That should not be allowed to happen. That's utterly, utterly ridiculous that they're doing that they are abusing the system like this and keeping someone on the hook until she's 30-something. in school, racking up hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. That is irresponsible as an adult. That is absolutely irresponsible. Here's more micro.
By kids who either started a 4-year degree and dropped out, or who got one and statistically aren't working or not working in their chosen field. That's a bad number.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we've got 400,000 jobs in construction right now.
Listen.
Twice that many in the defense industrial base.
Yeah.
It's bananas. And people, I'm not sure, believe me completely, but not a week goes by when I don't get a call from some CEO of some consequential company, some of whom you mentioned in the monologue, or an elected official, governors mostly, and they're freaking out. Like, they've done the math. For every 5 tradespeople who retire, 2 come in. Yeah. It's been that way for about 12 years now.
Yeah, it's an absolute tragedy. And here's Mike Rowe talking about what young men aren't doing.
The question doesn't start with what are they doing. It starts with what aren't they doing. They're not volunteering at their local church. They're not in the Kiwanis Club. They're not checking out the Rotarians or the Lions Club. They're not in the Boy Scouts or Skills USA. They're not contributing anything in their community. What are they doing? On average, they're spending between 2,000 and 2,100 hours a year on their screen. Wow. It is we just haven't seen the like of it.
No, it's a tragedy. And I'm experiencing it in my own life. And I'm not sure what to do about it. You can tell a kid enough to get up, you lift themselves up by their bootstraps, but if it's not within them to do it, I think COVID had a lot to do with it too, by the way. I really, really do. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. This isn't the end of a fight. It's the start of one. Lioness, the critically acclaimed original series from Taylor Sheridan, returns August 2nd only on Paramount+. It's the new season. Hidden networks, foreign operatives, and personal betrayals collide while Joe walks the line between duty and family. Don't miss Lioness, starring Zoe Saldana, Michael Kelly, with Morgan Freeman and Nicole Kidman. Now streaming on Paramount+.
Deported. Deported. Deported.
Get him out. Ready? Are you ready? Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get the hell out of here.
Deported. deported. Deported.
Get him out. Ready? Are you ready? Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Get the hell out of here.
Do you really want another summer like last summer, barely sleeping because you were too hot all night? People blame summer heat for bad sleep when it really may be their mattress trapping heat. And if you already sleep hot, summer only makes it worse. That's why I switched to Ghost Bed. Helps keep you cool all night, no waking up sweaty, tossing and turning, or throwing the covers off at 2 a.m. Cooling tech is built into every mattress. It's not some expensive upgrade you have to pay extra for. Hot sleepers are some of Ghost Bed's happiest customers. Read the reviews. You get incredible support, less stiffness, deeper sleep, more rested mornings. I got my Ghost Bed about 6 months ago, and it changed my life. Ghost Bed gives you 101 nights to try it at home. You can sleep on it all summer long and feel the difference for yourself. How many more summers are you going to waste on bad sleep? Ghost Bed is currently offering my audience an extra 10% off. Go to ghostbed.com/Carson. Use the promo code Carson.
Officials are now making new demands. Iran's Supreme National Security Council issued a fresh statement this weekend calling on the United States to permanently end the war in the region, not just with Iran, but also with its proxies, and to compensate Iran for damages before the strait would reopen.
Oh, yeah.
Iran's foreign minister says even if a deal is reached, it doesn't necessarily mean the strait will stay open.
The talks with Oman are about the temporary route. We are almost very close to the result. Determining the route by Iran and Oman does not necessarily mean the reopening the Strait of Hormuz.
Wow, honestly, they don't get it. We've got a special guest who knows much more about this stuff than I do from the American First Policy Institute. Fred Fleitz, how are you today, sir?
Hey, Rob. Good to be here.
So Iran names the price to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. They want compensation for the war to open the Straits of Hormuz. So they're actually emboldened by their own destruction. What do you think?
This is like an ant telling a lion to surrender.
I know.
It's completely ridiculous. Their military's been destroyed. Their economy is in ruins. The only thing they're doing here is making these outrageous demands, knowing that CNN and the other mainstream media outlets will carry them, thinking that's going to pressure Trump to give them a deal that would be bad for the United States. I can tell you, Rob, that's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. The economy is collapsing. I believe I heard that inflation is 70%. We just went through a couple of weeks of major strikes. What needs to happen next?
I ran a piece in American Greatness on Friday. Trump gives Iran one last chance. Time is on America's side.
Yeah.
If Iran doesn't deal, they're losing $400 to $500 million a day because of the U.S. blockade. In 30 to 60 days, this will be a different country. So these fanatics running the country, they think they can hold on indefinitely. I even heard they think they can hold on until January of 2029. They can't.
Yeah.
There's already concern about Iranian officials that the economy is going to collapse. And sort of amazing, because I thought the economy had already collapsed. Apparently, a cataclysmic collapse is on the horizon. So they can keep playing this game, and Trump's going to be patient.
I don't know. I know we're going to win this. It's frustrating. I would kind of, I'm kind of the guy who says bomb the snot out of them. And I'm glad we have. But what is preventing that end from happening? We talk about ground troops and all of this stuff.
No, I don't want ground troops.
No, neither do I. Of course not.
Americans don't want that. But look, you turn on Fox News. This is neocons calling for this every day. Let's invade Carg Island. Let's invade the Straits of Hormuz. Let's send special forces in to dig up buried uranium that probably can't be used for nuclear weapons. We may have to attack them again to send a message and to knock out some military capabilities, such as missiles and drones. But I think the idea of simply destroying the country, their economy, their bridges, their energy sector, I don't think we need to do that. I think we can wait them out with economic pressure.
Obviously, everybody's thinking about the midterms. I guess I was a little surprised when I was driving across the country taking my daughter back to Kansas City. I stopped at Buc-ee's and I got a gallon of gas for $2.99. And as I was driving, and I know Buc-ee's. Have you ever been to Buc-ee's, Fred?
I have. I've seen signs for them on the turnpike.
Fred, it is the greatest thing in the world. I'm going to buy shares in Buc-ee's. I swear it is better than I ever even imagined. All of those FIFA hockey or soccer fans who were in the country when they went into Buc-ee's, that's how I was. It's absolutely amazing. But $2.99, and then I was hearing on the radio, crude was $75 a barrel. Isn't that crazy?
I think oil is going to come down because there's really no shortage. It's anxiety. It's fears of war. But, you know, if the tension between the two sides goes down, the Iranian attacks subside, the oil market, the price is going to come down.
I had heard also that Donald Trump was kind of coming down on the American oil companies making such giant profits. That was kind of odd for me to hear him go after American oil companies because he is a capitalist. But I guess their revenues have increased by a dozen times, whatnot, and he's kind of firing a warning shot over their bow. What do you suppose that will do to gas prices?
I don't agree with the president on that.
Yeah.
The nature of the oil market is that it's a global market, and a few companies in the market simply can't lower their prices. If they do that, the other companies will buy their oil and they'll sell it at a discount. We have to work on lowering the price of oil in the entire market, not pressuring a few companies to artificially lower prices, because that price isn't just what they're charging themselves, it's what they're charging from the source of the oil.
Yeah. What about Cuba? We haven't heard a lot about Cuba the last few weeks. It's kind of on the back burner, but I've heard over the weekend that rolling brownouts are now massive rolling blackouts. The economy is suffering. I mean, what sort of steady footing does the communist regime have in Cuba, and what is next for us reacting to Cuba?
I don't know enough about this, Rob, because
Gotcha.
I'm focusing so much on the Middle East, but I will tell you that the president has a very serious policy towards stabilizing the Western Hemisphere, not just Venezuela, including Cuba. The pressure we put on Venezuela means that Cuba lost its free or deeply discounted oil. It has no source of energy. Their economy is collapsing also. And we have a Secretary of State who's a Cuban American who's absolutely dedicated to bringing freedom to the island of Cuba, and I hope he succeeds.
Absolutely, 100%. So when do you see this Iranian conflict coming to a close? When do you suppose that the people of Iran might be able to replace those in power? And also, what's the possibility that the Crown Prince would return? Because there's seems to be a groundswell of support for that building.
I think it's coming. I hope it's this year that the Iranian people can take back their country. I hate to make an estimate. I'm a big fan of the Crown Prince. I don't know how strong his support is in the country. I know there is some support. There's also some opposition because of people who didn't like his father, who is sort of an authoritarian, shall we say. But I think if we were to choose someone to run the country, he would be an excellent choice. He's not going to set up a dictatorship. He will turn over the country to a democratic government. I just don't know what the mechanism is to get him in.
Yeah. What role does Israeli intelligence and Israeli forces, what role do they play in finishing off the people in power in Iran?
You can be sure that Israel is very active in trying to find ways to help the Iranian people take back their country, including providing arms. And I hope our government is doing this also.
All right, Fred Fleitz, I appreciate you being on the show today. Fred, where can people find you on social media?
Well, you can read my articles and see my media commentary at my website, fredfleitz.com, and also there's a lot there on my new book about the North Korean nuclear weapons program. All
right, Fred Fleitz, thank you very much. Have a glorious day, man. I appreciate you.
Great to be here.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. You know, when it comes to supplements, two things matter most. A, that it works, and B, that you can trust it. We hear from people every single day whose lives have changed, including mine, and we'd like you to hear a few of their stories. Chris has spent years of doing physical work, leaving his feet sore at the end of the day. After starting Relief Factor, he felt so good, he did something he'd never done before. He ran a half marathon. Now he tells all his friends about Relief Factor. I can still move furniture, I can still ride my mountain bike, I can still lift heavy weights, and Relief Factor makes all of those tasks pain-free for me. 3 weeks for just $17.76. Simply go to ReliefFactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF. We hope you'll soon be sharing your story with us too. Again, ReliefFactor.com or 800-4RELIEF. It is a Rob Carson show. Just doing a little show prep as I do the show, as I always do. So, Enes Kanter Freedom. I had a chance to meet him. He's a basketball player. I actually had dinner with him at the United States Capitol. Not that long. I'm not meaning to drop names, but, you know, it's kind of cool that I hung out with him. He has decided with another guy named Royce White, top WNBA prospect Royce White, and they have decided that they are going to try to join the WNBA. And I think this is pretty funny because the WNBA is so unbelievably woke and broken. I mean, honestly, what a broken and terrible league they are. They're like a little girls, little catty little girls on the playground. Here is Royce White talking about changing genders. Of course, he's not planning on changing genders, but he's having a lot of fun with this.
You know, right now I'm just having a blast in my feminine era. I never thought that I was a woman. You know, I've always trusted the science, and I thought I was a man my entire life. But you know, after further review, strong look at my personal preferences.
You can see the guy. He's wearing a pinstripe suit. He's got a beard, and he's bald.
It would appear that I am indeed sometimes identifying as a transgender woman, and I think it's only fair I get a chance to play with some of my queens here in the twilight of my career, my athletic prime.
Well, and so exactly what you're saying, Royce, is just sort of unveils
pulls the curtain back on the lack of clarity in the WNBA's policies under.
By the way, and he played it straight through the entire interview. And these two guys are, pushing back on this nonsense. And we thought this nonsense was over with transgender transgender females, which they were born with male parts. Okay, they're born with male parts. And we thought that nonsense was over, but it was not. The WNBA is also enormously racist. There are a lot of women there who are black women, and they're not happy about some of the white women in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark, they're very jealous of her. She's the highest scoring college basketball player in history, above the boys and everything. And they hate the fact that she has brought so much momentum to the WNBA because, honestly, I didn't even know any of the names of the WNBA. And I would venture to say most of us don't. And I think it's a real shame because she brought a lot of little girls to the stadiums to see her play, among other things. There was a flagrant clothesline foul on Sophie Cunningham on Saturday. It even got the attention of the Florida top law enforcement officer, the AG of the state of Florida. This woman's name, are you ready for this? Her name is Jeanine Carrington. Jeanine Carrington. Do you remember the product Jeanine? Remember that? It was. I think they might even still sell it. It was a condiment that had mayonnaise and Dijon mustard in it. It's called Dijonais. Her mother named her Dijonais. Must have really loved Dijonais, right? I mean, wow, that's kind of crazy. I mean, I love ketchup, but I would never name my kid ketchup. But Jeanine Carrington of the Chicago Sky. Again, I didn't even know the name of the team. Was handed a flagrant 2 foul for sending the Indiana Fever's Cunningham smashing to the floor. She did a clothesline. And then, excuse me, she scampered back into the locker room to post white privilege on social media during the game, drawing the attention of Florida Attorney General James Altmaier. The WNBA knows better than to play games down here in Florida because I'll be charging people with assault, and it is assault. This is not just playing rough. This is assault. Caitlin Clark got choked a couple weeks ago. You got Dijonais, her name's Dijonais, holy hell. Dijonais doing a clothesline, and then the coach of what's her name, Sophie Cunningham's team defended Dijonais. Must love that on her sandwiches.
I mean, look, it was a hard foul. I don't think that Dijonais intentionally came out to get her across the net.
Oh, dear God, of course she did.
Like she did, but it did happen, and I thought it was the right call. But, one of the things about Nay is that she's going to play her butt off, man. She's going to compete. Nobody's going to go walking in for a layup. And so I don't oppose the hard foul. But I also don't think that she intentionally went for the neck.
Oh, really? Well, it was pretty obvious she went for the neck, honestly. I got to tell you, I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. They are self-immolating. The WNBA is self-immolating. They're killing themselves. Just when they were finally starting to show a little bit of relevance, seats being sold out, attention being paid to players being asked for autographs and all of this. And they're letting petty nonsense, political correctness, wokeness, etc., and just jealousy in general. It really is quite sickening. Bill Maher went off this weekend on Anthony Fauci. I thought this was great. And Fauci is in a world of hurt right now. The country, I think, is turned on him. They recognize what he did to the country. There's a hero worship in the media, but most of us are just angry at Tony Fauci. Here is Bill Maher teeing off on Tony Fauci.
One was the model they followed in Sweden and Florida, 2 places that have nothing in common except a love of old people in sweaters.
Yeah.
But both places thought it was smarter, and both did quite well, by laser focusing on protecting the vulnerable and letting life go on for everyone else. They thought it was a good idea to get out and go in the sun for vitamin D and fresh air.
Yeah, I know.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
The other side, well, let's just say they aired.
You know what? Isn't it nice to see common sense making a comeback?
On the side of caution.
Yeah.
Really, really into erring on that side. I showed this picture last week. That's a Democratic Socialist meeting in Colorado. Last month.
Yeah, they were all wearing masks. That's what they did. They made us wear masks for 2 years. Why? To broadcast fear, which I said in real time when it was happening, and to show that you had surrendered. to the people in control. It was like planting a Muslim flag in Times Square. Here is Bill Maher on Tony Fauci, a little bit more on teeing off on Fauci.
Last week I played a game here called Who Said It, Fauci or Trump?
Yeah.
Let's play. It is not hyperbole to say I am the most famous and talked about person in the country. The nurses went absolutely wild to see me. I am such a valued spokesperson and a good communicator.
I know.
One person said that Tyra Banks was sexy, but I was even sexier than she was.
Yeah.
None of that is Trump. Yeah. That's all Fauci.
I know.
Writing to himself at 80.
Yeah, writing to himself at 80 years old. Here's the mic drop from Bill Maher.
Fauci supported some strange policies for such an esteemed epidemiologist. Natural immunity doesn't count now? Meaning, even if you've had the disease, you still had to get the shot? That sounds more like what Pfizer and Fauci's celebrity friends wanted to hear. Turns out the really dangerous intimate contact wasn't shaking hands, it was kissing ass.
There you go. There you go. I love it. I remember what I said. I said in 2024, it's a return to common sense from nonsense. And this election is sanity versus insanity. And I believe we're going to win it. I really do. Stay positive, overwhelm them with joy and faith and patriotism. I'll handle the mockery, ridicule, and satire. And if we need to, we'll kick their rear ends. How's that sound? Take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with
How's
even
everybody
a
doing today?
bigger mess.
Who's watching today?
Life
Sorry,
insurance
I've been
will help
distracted.
replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance
Hello,
can
Dookie
even
Bear.
help pay off
Hello,
debt
Sport
like
Tech. How
credit
are you?
cards and medical bills.
DC
Life insurance
42.
can even pay for college.
Dr.
And if you own a business and you
Carrington
die,
is the player.
life
Yeah,
insurance
Dijonay. Her
can
name
help
is
your business
Dijonay.
from collapsing.
I know, right,
It can
right,
even
right.
help cover estate taxes.
It's hilarious.
Life insurance has
Dijon
never
mustard.
been more affordable
Isn't that hilarious?
and needed. Plus, you
Named
can
her
always shop
Dijonay
around
after
even
the
if you have a plan
mustard
and save
mayonnaise
some money. So call the
condiment
Life
that they
Insurance
sold
Quote
for a
Line
while.
right now for
Dijonay.
free pricing information.
It's hilarious. Rane, you're Bachad. How are you? Kathy Doman. What's going on? Glad to have you here joining me. It's awesome. Awesome to see you. Over on Rumbly Roo, Dookie Bear. How's it going?
That's 800-917.
Leslie Ladyhawk over on YouTube. Thanks for joining me today. Big numbers today. They're always big when I'm away.
Want to know what real relaxation
Kinzer,
sounds like?
9138.
It's saying,
The website is
hey
down. That was
family,
earlier.
let's head down
We got
to
it
our
going
beach
again.
house in Delaware this weekend.
We had some
Instead of
overheating
spending
problems in the
thousands
studio this
every
morning. My
summer on
computer
rental. Why not own your
was
own
freezing up
place
on me
at
because
the
it was very,
beach?
very,
That's
very
where
warm. It
Adam
was 80
Kasabian
degrees
with
when I got in here.
Lauren Foster comes in. Adam knows the Delaware
It's only
Beach Market better
75
than
now, but
anybody
it's a little
and can
better.
help
It feels
make that
better
dream
anyway.
happen.
So,
Call or text
anyway, thanks
Adam
for joining me,
today
guys.
at
I do appreciate you.
302-864-8643.
More than you'll ever know. More than you'll ever know.
That's 302-864-8643. Or visit buydelaware.com.
The moment you arrive at Pennsylvania Dutch Market in Cockeysville, the aroma alone will have your mouth watering. Freshly roasted pork, daily caught seafood,
All
and
right,
homemade desserts that taste just like mom.
trying to think what I should do next
You'll
year.
find everything you need to prepare a great holiday feast. All in
Yeah,
one
maybe I'll do
stop.
that.
And don't miss Twin Brooks Furniture for incredible ideas at unbeatable value.
Yeah, maybe I'll do
Open
this.
Thursdays
I got
and
another
Fridays
parody from
9 to
Jim
6
Gossett.
and Saturdays 8 to 4. Start a new holiday tradition with your family at Pennsylvania Dutch Market on York Road in Cockeysville.
Get about 3:15.
You know, Democrats used to be able to get away with this. Francesca Hong is running for the mayor of Milwaukee. Milwaukee is the actual Milwaukee, and she a while back said that Thanksgiving should have been canceled in 1621, and now that she's been exposed, she all of a sudden it's her favorite holiday.
Thanksgiving is also a time that's incredibly painful for many people in our communities. My favorite holiday is Thanksgiving.
Listen to her. She sounds like a toddler. Listen.
Favorite holiday is Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Because
There you have it.
There you have it, yeah.
Yep.
No, you don't have it. We absolutely do not believe you. She also hates white people. Even though she was married to a white guy and has a biracial kid.
In Wisconsin, they are not believing.
Jim Gossett.
Francesca Hong is in the lead.
Doot-doot-doot-doot.
Or they should ignore her deceiving. not what they need. Francesca Hung wants to defund the police.
That's pretty good, Jim.
If she's elected, there will be no peace.
Bob Dylan is what that is.
Nominations in her sights. Don't think twice, she hates whites.
Eliminating funds for the police needs to be put into rehabilitation services.
Thanksgiving, Francisca wants to end it. The Supreme Court too.
Come on!
Her platform, no way to defend it. Nothing she says is true. She's a proud member of the DSA. Wisconsin's freedom she will take away.
Yeah.
Racial tension she ignites. Don't think twice, she hates whites.
There you go. That is Jim Gossett. Jim Gossett, ladies and gentlemen. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant work by Mr. Jim Gossett. Absolutely, as always. That's just the way Jim rolls. And I got him on my show. That's what we're trying to do. You know, I like to say we walk in Rush Limbaugh's footsteps. No one will be able to fill his shoes. But great things are happening on this end. Took a couple days off to drive my daughter back, but the studio here in Washington, D.C. is complete. I built it myself here in the Newsmax building. It is a great honor to be in this building. And it's a great honor to bring you here with me. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks to our affiliate stations. Thanks to everybody watching the live stream. We got great news. Top 200 podcasts in America over the weekend. Apple Podcast. I'm beating big names like Benny Johnson. Beating Benny Johnson. I know, it's kind of cool. God bless you, America's founder, Donald Trump, our great president. Our troops fighting Iran. And until tomorrow, which is Tuesday, do not catch the stupid. I'll see you then.
The Rob Carson Show is presented by Paramount Plus.
Information. Truth. Is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.